everybody, it's Stacie Duffy here, your Denver Metro real estate resource. And in light of the recent fires that have happened up in Boulder County, which are absolutely catastrophic and devastating and terrible in all things, I think a lot of people are unfortunately going to find out that their homeowners insurance was not what they thought it was, or the coverage didn't cover certain items in their home or something like that. So that's a byproduct of major catastrophic losses, right? So I want to take this time to talk to y'all about homeowners insurance coverage, okay? Not super fun, but as you can see, when things hit the fan, it's important to at least understand it and know what is and isn't covered. And that way, if you need to make changes, you can make it now versus finding out the hard way that you're $100,000 short in replacing your stuff or your house or something else down the road if something were to happen, okay? Because that's what homeowners insurance is really for, is catastrophic loss. So I'm going to do a detailed blog post and probably a detailed video on this because there is a ton of stuff. I am not a licensed insurance agent. I don't play one on TV. However, I have a lot of background, or I have a lot of knowledge in that. That's what my dad did, is insurance sales and property claims adjustment and that kind of stuff. So luckily, I'm very aware of a lot of things in the policies and nuances in policies that a lot of agents probably aren't. And I try to advise my buyers on those, or at least to ask the questions to your insurance agent or your insurance company, because a lot of people don't know what to ask. So I'm going to talk about a few things, but I'm also going to do, if I'm sending this out via email to you, then I'll include all the details down below. It's a novel. Go through it when you feel appropriate. I want to talk about the few really important things that you can do pretty quickly, relatively quickly, that can make a big difference down the road, okay? So, and also if I do a detailed video on all the stuff, I'll link to that, or if I'm posting this on YouTube, I'll put that up here if I do a detailed. But that's going to be like a half-hour video, guys. There's a ton of stuff in there. So, big stuff I want to hit. Sorry, I'm looking at my notes so I can try to kind of stay on track for y'all. The policy value. So a lot of people get all up in arms on the policy when they're buying a house, and then the policy value isn't exactly what they're paying for the house, okay? Insurance isn't just looking at the market value. That's one factor, right? Okay, if you have a catastrophic loss and they have to pay you for the house, is it enough to go buy an equivalent? That's one piece of it. The other piece is replacement coverage, or what would it cost to rebuild, okay? So that's another part that's going to play into that. Some people like the value to be lower because then your annual premium is lower, but keep in mind if you have a catastrophic loss, the max limit on the policy is also lower, so you don't get as much money in the end. It's all a balancing act and a risk calculation. That's a lot of what insurance coverage is risk calculation and understanding that. But make sure to talk to your insurance agent about what your policy coverage is, both for contents coverage, which is the stuff inside of your house. We're going to talk a lot more about that in a minute, and the actual house itself, the structure. Okay. So regarding contents coverage, okay, contents coverage on most policies, it's going to be a percentage of the maximum policy. So let's say the policy amount is $600,000. A lot of them will have a $300,000 contents coverage or some percentage, 25%, 50%, 75%, something like that. And you're probably thinking, I don't have $300,000 worth of stuff in my house. Okay. I probably don't either. However, when it comes to scheduling valuable items, a lot of those, for contents coverage, a lot of individual categories will have limits. Firearms, jewelry, technology, so computers, iPads, TVs, phones, camera equipment, audio-video equipment, hunting equipment, like if you're big into archery or something like that. A lot of those specialty niche equipments, 3D printers, I don't know, all that stuff can be unbelievably expensive on an individual basis, right? Thousands and thousands of dollars. Tools, another big one. So make sure to check your policy for the categories and the limits on the category, because a lot of times you'll have a $3,000 limit on technology. Okay, well, if you have a gaming PC, or one of your kids has a gaming PC, and you've got a couple of iPads and some really nice TVs and some really nice photography equipment, you're going to max that out in no time, and then you're going to have another $20,000 worth of stuff that's not going to get paid to be replaced or for your coverage. So understanding those limits and the categories. Firearms is another big one. Like, I've seen policy limits on firearms for like $1,500. Okay, well, if you're a firearms person, you know that's not going to go very far, and that's probably not going to cover what you have. So for jewelry, a couple $1,000s. If you've got an engagement ring, you're maybe anywhere between $5, $10, $15, $30, $50,000 on that one item. So making sure you have valuable items scheduled is what they're called. Talk to your insurance agent about scheduling items and for the value. So they usually ask for a proof of purchase or an appraisal on high dollar items or something like that. Some people choose to have scheduled items on a separate policy altogether. Okay. Make sure that valuable items are scheduled. Replacement, I'm going to talk about that in a minute. Cataloging items. So this sounds like a nightmare, but I will tell you, if, God forbid, your house were to burn down to the ground tomorrow, this just happened to 1,000 people. Oh, well, more than 1,000 people, 1,000 homes. Would you remember everything in your house? And is that what you want to spend your time and mental energy doing when you were in that position? No. Hell no. So, because there's so many other things going on. The last thing you want to worry about is telling your insurance company all of the stuff that was in your house so you can make sure that you're not missing coverage on some things. So one thing that I recommend is after the holidays, Christmas, kiddo birthdays, whatever tends to be your annual influx of items. I usually say holidays because people get gifts, they get new stuff at Black Friday, that kind of year or that time of year. Take your phone in video. Walk around every room in your house and just stand in one spot and just do this and talk through the expensive items that you see in the room, okay? So that will be evidence to the insurance company that, one, you actually had that 65-inch television that you got on Black Friday for, curved TV for $1,500, whatever that you told them about, that you couldn't find the receipt for. And two, it will also jog your memory the other items in the room, okay? So you don't have to talk about everything. Talk about the expensive things. And, hey, there's that basket behind the couch and that has the throw blankets in it or whatever. And when you're watching that video later, you're going to remember, oh, and I had a $300 Etsy hand knit cashmere throw in that. Well, that would cost a lot more than that. But this really nice blanket in there that was worth X number of dollars or that I paid X for. That in the dining room buffet, what did I have in the buffet? Okay, I had grandmother's china, I had my serving pieces, I had this. So it will help jog your memory because you can now virtually walk through your house that when you need it, it won't exist and you won't have that. And as terrible as that is, having some sort of baseline, right, of what's in your house, what you had, it's evidence to the insurance company, it jogs your memory. It can serve. You may never need it, and hopefully you never will, right? But if something were to happen, tornado, hurricane, flood, fire, car drives through your front door, it's happened, guys. Crazy stuff happens. You can at least have something to jog your memory, and it's a baseline. I recommend to do it annually when you get all the new stuff. Most people are probably not going to do that, just like they don't change a furnace filter like when they should. But if you got some time after this video and the kids are in bed, go do it now. Take a half hour and upload it to a cloud location, okay? Don't just keep it on your phone. Don't just throw it on your computer, on your, little hard drive that you have sitting on your desk, your external drive for backup stuff, because those aren't going to be there when you need it. Those things won't. So upload it to a cloud location where you can log in from any device and you can get that video later. And at least if you do it now and something happens in 8 years, you have a baseline, okay? Because chances are you're still going to have a lot of that stuff. So it's somewhere to start, or you will have replaced it with something recently that you can at least jog your memory on the list of what you have to file on the claim. So if you'll do one thing, take away from this video is go do a video walkthrough, upload it to a cloud to serve as a catalog and proof of your items, okay? Because that's going to be a lot of the hard part and the stress down the road if something ever were to happen. When it comes to those items, the other thing I want to talk about is replacement coverage versus ACV or actual cash value coverage. So this can be for the roof, for the house, for the items. Ask your insurance agent. It's going to be very different by company, by policy. Some have the options, some have standard, and they don't give you a choice. But know what you have and what you're paying for and make sure that you're happy with that. Because replacement coverage says, oh, that 65-inch television that you got 7 years ago, okay, cool. you know what? I know you can't get that exact TV now. I know what you paid for it won't replace it because, well, they're cheaper now, but we will replace that item or give you the money to replace that item. ACV, which is what a lot of people have that they don't realize that they have, is actual cash value, which will prorate based on the age, depreciation, that type of thing. So for technology items, cars is a different rabbit hole because of how the coverage is insurance wise, but a lot of valuable items, make sure that you know if it's ACV coverage or replacement coverage, okay? Because when you need to replace all of your stuff at one time, it all gets really expensive, right? So that's a big one too. The last thing I'm going to talk about, it's minor, it's not going to apply to a lot of people, but if you hold property in a trust name or if your property is titled in a trust, check with your insurance company and make sure that the insurance policy is either in the trust name or that your insurance company will insure an individual policy and honor a claim on that for property titled in a trust. Sometimes the insurance company says, hey, if the property is not held in the exact same name that's on the insurance policy, we're not going to pay the claim. That would be a big problem because usually people with properties in a trust are $500,000 or $1 million plus on their property, and a catastrophic loss on that would be a big deal. So please, please, please make sure that if you have a trust situation, talk to your insurance agent. If they don't know the answer for any of these questions that you're asking your insurance agent or your insurance contact about, if they don't have the answer and they're like, I'm not really sure about that, tell them to go find out or tell them to get back to you. In writing would be good because a lot of insurance agents are either newer or they don't know because a lot of people don't ask these questions because they don't understand their policies. And so the agents aren't used to having to answer these questions. Or the customer service, whoever you're talking to for the company. So if they don't know the answer, ask them politely, please go find out. And if you could send it to me in an email or in writing, that would be greatly appreciated so I have it for reference. So hopefully that helps y'all a little bit more. I know that's a lot of information. Sorry for the long video. It's just, I can't imagine being in the position that so many families are in right now, especially locally. And I know that very, very few people probably understand their policy well enough or have a catalog of their belongings or something like that. And it's just, I hurt for the people that are going to go through those things, those pain points right now. And I would hate for other people to learn the hard way when it's avoidable. So if you have questions, feel free to ask me. I'm not a licensed insurance agent. I don't pretend to play one on TV. I just know what I know and I'd love to share the knowledge. So I'll help how I can, but your insurance company would be the right contact for that. So anyway, hopefully you're having a great day. Go take your video, catalog your belongings, throw it on Google Photos or iCloud or Dropbox or Evernote or something like that. And at least you can say, you know what, I prepared for a worst case scenario. And that's one less thing on my list. So thanks so much, guys. Have a great day.